to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. I'm John Cooper, and this is the show where we bring in experts to find out the very latest travel and holiday trends and to give you the opportunity to send in your questions too. Now, if you want to send in any questions you may have for our experts, all you have to do, it's really easy, is get in touch with us. You can fill in a form at our website, www.holidayandcruisetv.co.uk, or you can email to us at clinic@holidayandcruisetv.co.uk, or even by the good old-fashioned postal way. Holiday and Cruise Clinic, Holiday and Cruise TV, Cavendish House, Brighton Road, Liverpool, L22 5NG. It really is that simple. We look forward to receiving all your questions. And if you've got anything for any type of holiday, just get in touch. Now then, let's find out who's going to be joining me today. And I'm pleased to have an expert in worldwide touring holidays with me. It's Janet Parton from Cosmos. Janet, first of all, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
And it really is wonderful. Now, when it comes to touring holidays, do you know, there are many different types of tours you can do. I mean, yeah, I've done a tour where I've done it by myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, you go from hotel to hotel. But what's the advantage of going on a tour with, you know, an expert, with a tour guide, basically, as opposed to doing it yourself?
Well, there's the obvious one, which is the fact that you get to see so many destinations in one holiday. So that's the obvious reason why you would go on a tour. The second is that you can take the hassle out of your holiday. So you've got experts that will actually look after you from the moment that you leave your front door to the whole way through your journey on your holiday. So you've got everything included in your price. So what you pay is a one price for your flights, your hotels, all the way through your tour. Your meals are included, your excursions are included. You have Wi-Fi on your coaches, you've got luxury coaches, and I think most importantly, you have the services of a tour director. And your tour directors are really, really important in the whole touring holiday experience because they bring a wealth of experience and expertise to that specific destination. So the tour guides that are used are experts in those specific areas. So it's almost having your own pocket guide, if you like, in the sense that they will give you tips and ideas of, you know, the local places of where you're staying. So if you wanted to go out for a meal that evening, they would say to you, have you thought about this restaurant, and it's tucked around this corner and no one ever, you know, it's really quiet and it's really quaint, or it's really busy and it's really popular. Whatever you want, they will be able to give you helpful, handy tips, which you wouldn't necessarily find by exploring on your own or finding in a guidebook.
Also, I suppose that they go to these places all the time, or they live in these places, so therefore they really do know, you know, what the locals do as well.
Absolutely. And the whole point about touring is about immersing yourself in that local destination. So, you know, stereotypically, touring from a long time ago would have been, you know, felt like you were being herded onto a coach and then off a coach, and it would all be quite quick and quite fast paced. And touring is just not like that at all. It's really about an experiential experience of being in the local area and getting in touch with the local communities and just everything that you can do in that area, which you wouldn't necessarily see or do by doing it on your own.
Now, there are many parts of the world that, you know, to go on touring, and I think that there's certain places that lend themselves better to a touring holiday where you can see a lot more in a short period of time. What are the more popular places to go?
There is lots of popular places on tours. Europe is still very popular for touring. Italy specifically is really popular for touring in the sense that you get to see so many different destinations within Italy in a concentrated period. So Italy's great for touring. The USA and Canada,
wow,
still very, very, very popular with touring, and again you get to see so much on a wider scale, and more upcoming destinations. And I say upcoming in the sense of, you know, they're easier to go onto a tour to experience than they are anything else. There's something like Japan or China, and even then more experiential tours like safari and wildlife tours in South Africa. So there's a real breadth of holiday options and destinations.
You can do the wine tasting as well.
You can absolutely do the wine tasting.
Yes. That is appealing to me more and more. Now, I know tours have changed dramatically over the past decades. Can you tell us the different tours that are available now and what different experiences you can get?
Well, the tours have gone from strength to strength, and you can have, really adventurous tours, which is something quite fast-paced and something which you would never, which takes you out of your comfort zone. There's tours which are, I just touched on it before, about, experiential tours. So you could do wildlife tours, there's gourmet food tasting tours, there's wine tasting tours, there's tours almost for every type of activity and hobby. Wildlife, so safaris are really popular, not only South Africa but India. The Tigers of Ranthambore is a really beautiful tour. And so this is all, there is literally a tour for all types of hobbies and activities. The other thing that's changed massively over the years is it's not just about coaches. You don't have to be on a coach with a number of other people.
Really?
You can do private touring, which is becoming more and more popular. And private touring will have a can involve as minimal as one person. So, if you're literally travelling on your own, you could have your own private tour guide, your own private driver that would take you to these wonderful, amazing destinations, and you've got your own private guide. And the great thing about that is actually that, if you're looking for a really special holiday, so, a honeymoon, a celebration, anything like that, it does lend itself to a really amazing experience.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, can you add these tours on, saying, you're going on holiday somewhere, like for instance, say America, and you're going to be going to, I don't know, Los Angeles for a few days. Can you say, well, after I've done my few days holiday in Los Angeles or Las Vegas or something, I then want to go on a tour and see something of the state. Can you add them on like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, say, for example, you have got a family living in Los Angeles and you're going to do, a few days or a week or however long with your family, but then you actually want to see more of the country. You can have tours that will then, have it as an extension to your holiday that you've already got planned, and then you can go and, see the rest of America, or drop down into Mexico, or go up to Canada. There's a whole raft of what we can do, with extensions to your existing holidays.
That sounds to me as though it's really sort of great for people who've got friends and family like in Australia as well, and Canada and places like that, because they're the sort of places where if you're going, you may as well go and see the place. And sometimes it's nice to see the family for a time, but it's it's nice to go and see other things as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I presume the demographic of tour holidays has changed as well, because it had that sort of seal, didn't it, of it's only older people who go on it. But when you think you're going like wine tasting tours, safaris and stuff like that, it must be younger people who go on now.
Absolutely. The average age of touring has come down massively over the last number of years, and I think that comes down to the experience that you can have on a tour. So it isn't just about Europe or North America, and they are wonderful destinations in themselves, but because there are so many far-flung destinations and something which is often quite adventurous, it does tend to bring the average age of touring down quite massively. Not just sort of Australia or the Far East, but the Amazon and the Galapagos and some really wonderful, quite bucket list type destinations and holidays.
I would imagine it's a very educational thing to do as well.
Yeah, I think you definitely come away feeling that you have learned something.
Yeah, do you know, that's it all sounds so incredible to me. Do multi-generational people go on these type of holidays?
They do, especially on the private tours. So private tours lend themselves amazingly to sort of multi-generational groups and 3G families. And because a private tour, you can have anything from up to, like I said, one person up to sort of 14, 16 people into your own private minibus. You can literally have your own family group holiday. Which is great, and with your with the services of a tour guide and a tour director and your own driver. And what's great about touring in general is that you often feel like you're giving something back to the local community. So your drivers and your guides will take you off piste, and they will take you into local communities, and you'll find that you'll be invited to to sample some local tea from a family or go to a school, and so you do really feel like you're actually really immersed into the destinations. And we find that the family group type holiday concept really lends itself, and they love that experience.
It sounds absolutely wonderful. Listen, just stay where you are. I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you. Now, if all this talk of holidays has got you into the mood to get away, you can always request our first-time guide to cruising. Now, it's completely free of charge. Now, you can either apply at the website, that's www.holidayandcruisetv.co.uk, or simply give us a call. It's 03330 032 216. That's 03330 032 216. Calls will be charged at your standard network rate, and we'll get that in the post to you. Now, we're going to be taking a quick break, but we'll be back in just a few moments, so don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to the Holiday and Cruise Clinic with me, John Cooper. Today we're chatting with Janet Parton from Cosmos, who's an expert in touring holidays worldwide and everything associated with them. Now, do you know, the thing that sort of I like about touring is the fact that you go and see somewhere every day and it's something different. And sometimes you can get to stay at the end and the beginning of your holiday for a few days. But what I don't like about, and I don't like this about any hotel holiday, and I've got to be honest with you, is you know, when you check in, and there's usually a queue to check in, and then, you know, you're on the 4th floor, room 416, there's your keys, and then you've got your luggage with you, and, you know, the newspaper under your arm, and
you're dropping everything.
Yeah, exactly. How do you cope with all that?
That's easy. That's easy. So, with touring holidays, there is an item called porterage included. So porterage is a technical term for bag carriers.
Oh, I need them. I need them at the supermarket.
Don't we all? Don't we all? So basically, the porterage piece is wherever you go. So when you arrive at the hotel and the coach pulls up, there'll be somebody that will come and take the bags from the coach and take them away for you. You don't have to worry about taking your luggage or tipping for your luggage either. So often when you go to different destinations and somebody picks up your bag and they take it to your room, you feel obliged to get some notes out, and you think about what currency do I need to give them and how much should I give them. You don't need to do any of that. That's all included in the cost of a touring holiday. That and so much more is included. So you know, your flights, your transfers, your hotels, your meals, your excursions are included. So when you're travelling out and about, entrance into museums.
I was going to say that because, you know, I've been to places and, you know, it says it costs so much to go here, but then you get there and, you know, you go into this museum, and it's only $15 and it's only €30 and it's only €20 and all these only things only really adds up, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah, they add up. So excursions and entrance into different, different places are included in your holiday fare. The other thing about touring, which it made me think of it actually when you spoke about hotels, is there is that misconception that on a tour you literally unpack every single day, and that every single day you're in a different place and you've got to pack your suitcase. Again, that's not the case anymore. So the majority of touring itineraries, you tend to find that you stay in destinations for a number of nights. So you could stay 2, 3, 4 nights in any one destination, and then your excursions branch off from there, and then you would then travel to your next place. And so it isn't necessarily, you know, one night here, one night there, and a continuous movement over the period.
So that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, really? It's like staying in London and then you go out to all the different attractions each day and what have you. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Now, when you're talking of tour holidays, I mean, say, there's budgets to think of, as it always is, you know, and is there different grades you could go on? For instance, you know, if I wanted to do it on a bit of a budget, I'm not really concerned about a big flashy hotel, but, you know, just somewhere comfortable to stay for the night. Or if I wanted to say, you know, I only like the finest things in life, you know, if it's not a 5-star hotel, I don't want to stay there. Can you cater for that sort of thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there are tours for all budgets and all standards that people want to have from their holiday experience. So you would tend to find that the minimum that tour companies would provide would be a 3-star type accommodation across the board, which would obviously lead itself to a more value orientated holiday. But then you've got the other end of the spectrum, which would be only luxury hotels or premium hotels, and so then you've got much more of a premium product. So there is literally everywhere in between that as well. So whatever the budget is, you know, touring is accessible. And you know, I know that certainly recently there's been lots of tours around you know, the sort of £700-800 mark with everything included, and that tends to be in place for the whole year.
That's tremendous value when you consider, because normally when you go on a holiday, and most people would spend about that sort of thing on a regular holiday. If you're going certainly to Europe or somewhere like that, you're staying in a nice hotel. But when you consider what else, is it because that, you know, basically you get the benefits of going as a group together?
Yes.
Is that the base? Yes,
there is an element of, you know, you're with a group, and so you've got the buying power of a group, if you like, but it's also just that it's just the value of touring holidays in general. You know, you're all on one coach, you're on one vehicle.
Talking of ones, people who want to go and tour and there are singles, you know, that for whatever reason, but you know, and you know, they'd like to go and do things, but you know, I can't do that by myself. Can you book a tour holiday to be as part of a group, but go on your own, if you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So touring holidays are actually, they're really sociable holidays. So if you are travelling as a single, they are perfect. Because if you think that you're on, you know, you're travelling with like-minded people that are looking to experience the same destinations that you are, or the same themed type tour that you are, whether that be culinary or music or wildlife. But you know, you tend to eat together in the evenings, you're on the same excursions in the daytimes together, the seats on the coach rotate, so you get to talk and sit next to different people. Wow. So actually, whether you're travelling on your own or you're travelling with a great big group within a group, it's a really sociable experience, and actually I think it's perfect actually for people that are travelling on their own.
Now, for me, that sort of social aspect of it brings it very similar to something that I talk about a lot, cruising. Now, what I'm actually thinking is, would it be possible to do a cruise holiday, say, I don't know, somewhere in Italy, say like cruising out of Venice, and then say, well, can I add a tour on to somewhere, you know, like Garda or somewhere like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And touring holidays and coach holidays have a real affinity together. Actually, there's a real link between the two, and I think with a cruise holiday, cruise people that like to cruise like to see different destinations and like to visit and experience different places, which is exactly what a tour does. So the great thing about a tour is that they can be added on to the start of a cruise or at the end of the cruise, so you actually get to experience the destination that you're either arriving into or disembarking from, which is great, because normally you would never normally see those ports of call because you're either flying in or flying out. So you can add tours onto a cruise or after a cruise and either see the local destination. So your point to Venice, you could do a tour in Lake Garda, or you could even go up and do a tour into Switzerland. So you don't just have to sit it with your close to your embarkation point.
That is such a point, because I've been to so many places where, you know, Venice is one and Barcelona is another, where I've landed, gone to the ship, and all I've seen is from the airport to the ship, and from the ship to the airport. That's all you see. That's all you see. So it's a great way of adding to an experience, isn't it, as well? Do people do these sort of holidays for, well, I was thinking special occasions, like, you know, a holiday, an anniversary, or maybe they're coming up to retirement, and you know, I finished with work now. Let's see the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with touring, it can lend itself to any of those things as a special holiday or a special experience, something as a celebration. But it's also it can just be this is my holiday for this year, I want to go and see a lot of Canada, or I want to see Switzerland, or I want to see, you know, New York and Philadelphia. It can just lend itself to be anything from your annual holiday to a really special experience.
I know from personal experience with my parents, they did a tour from New York one year, and they went out to the Niagara Falls and Washington, you know, did that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they came back and they fell in love with it. And the next year they're off again, and they're off to California.
Yeah.
And do you find that once people have done it, they keep coming back for more and more and more?
Absolutely. And the reason for that is the ease and the convenience of having the holiday planned for you, and you see in so many destinations with you out having to actually think about it. You know, you don't need to drive, you don't need to worry about where you're going or am I going to get lost, and it's the convenience is first and foremost for people on a touring holiday.
I think that, I mean, I'm a great panicker of getting lost in places, and will I make it back in time, and will I miss my flight, and you know get to the airport 4 hours before I have to, because you know, and it does take all that out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It takes the complete worry, because you know, these people, your tour guides, they live there. They know it's going to take 15 minutes to get to the airport. You know,
and you're in their hands. You're in their hands, and they have done this a million times before, and they know the areas like the back of their hands. And so, actually, you're 100% looked after from start to finish, and that's why I think touring is such a wonderful holiday, and it lends itself to a lot of customers wanting to travel again and again on a tour and see a different destination, because they feel so looked after and they feel safe, and they know that actually what they're paying is great value for money as well. So it ticks so many different boxes.
It sounds absolutely fascinating, Janet. Time has just whizzed away. I can't believe it's gone already. Thank you very much. Promise me you'll come back and do it again.
Absolutely.
There's a lot more to be talked about on this one, a lot more to be talked about. Well, if all this talk of holidays has got you in the mood to get away, remember you can always request our first-time guide to cruising. It is completely free of charge. All you have to do is either apply on our website at www.holidayandcruisetv.co.uk, or simply give us a call on 03330 032 216. That's 03330 032 216, and we'll pop it in the post to you. Calls are going to be charged at your standard network charges. Now, that's all we've got time for this time around, but join us again soon for more insights into the world of travel and holidays here on the Holiday and Cruise Clinic. From me, John Cooper, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.